Welcome everyone to the Tej Talks YouTube channel. Today I want to bust some myths. I want to go through some crap that I hear in the property industry and tell you why it's wrong and why you shouldn't be doing it. I'm going to give you some kind of maybe the top 3 myths that I hear a lot about and explain to you why they can't be done and why some of them might actually be illegal or breach of contract or fraud. So yeah, let's get into it. The first thing is, oh, I want to do a BR, and I haven't even bothered to read Tej's book, so that's your first myth, you need to read it. And oh, I'm going to do it with a mortgage, because some YouTuber said you're going to buy it with a mortgage, and then do the refurb, heavy refurb, like this, you know, ladders and board lifters and all sorts of shit. And then I'm going to remortgage it off the mortgage with another mortgage, and then that's a BR. And of course, it's really good because, you know, mortgage interest rates are like 3.7%. So that's really good because if I go and do a bridging loan or, you know, I haven't got any money or investor cash, it's going to cost like 9%, 10%, 12%, and then you got the fees. Oh, you know, I'll do a mortgage on a BRR. Listen, you moving stupid. You cannot do that, okay? It's called mortgage fraud. A mortgage is a 25-year plus product. It's not a 6-month product. Secondly, the terms of the mortgage will say you cannot do a heavy refurbishment. You can paint stuff, you know, you can put some pictures up, you can do all that stuff, but you cannot do a heavy refurb like this. So on 2 counts, it's mortgage fraud. You've broken the terms of contract with your mortgage company. Now, guess what happens when you break that contract? You get a call. You get 2 calls. You get 1 call and then a call for your money or for their money. They call that loan in. And I'll tell you something, the amount of time you get to pay that loan back when you ain't got no money is very, very tomorrow. So you cannot do this, right? I'm telling you, I don't need my broker to come here and tell you, but he will tell you, big up Shaz, he will tell you, you cannot do this. A mortgage is a 25-year long-term product for a habitable home, a house. Now, if you're buying it and you're doing, you know, literally repainting it, you know, you're just doing stuff that just to make it prettier, you know, just to, you know, new toilet, that's fine. That's not a BRR, really. You know, you don't tend to make money on that. I mean, I've done small refurbs, 5-6 grand, but it was a decent amount of work to do. But a buy, refurbish, refinance means you've got to refurbish it. That's where you're adding value. And it could be a short lease. So there are strategies where, you know, again, there's not a big refurb. Speak to your broker on if that's appropriate. But a real BRR is you're buying it. Funnily enough, they start with the same letter. You're buying it with a bridge, or you're buying it with investor cash or with JVs. A bridge is the financial tool, right? It's a short-term bridging to bridge a gap from buying to mortgage for you that you can do a heavy refurbishment on, that you can buy uninhabitable properties with. Oh, but it's gonna cost me 9%. Shut up, it's gonna cost you 9%. Deal with it. If your deal cannot take 9% interest and a couple fees, your deal's shit. That's the truth, I'm gonna tell you how it is. Like if you haven't got that much fat in the deal for costs, what happens when you're on your 2nd, 3rd, 4th property and you got investor finance? All my deals are 100% investor funded or with bridging. They can take the thing. And look, if I take the interest out of my spreadsheet, bloody hell, it's a good deal. I bet you want to see that on my Instagram story, but it's bullshit, yeah? You should not be doing this. Now look, people do it. Y'all carry on, yeah? But if you're serious about property and you want to grow and you don't want to be, and it may not happen the first time, but it will happen. The more you do this, mortgage companies will notice and talk. You know, the BDMs, they know each other, they talk, right? There's a community, like with brokers. They will talk and you'll get red listed. It's a 25-year product, you're redeeming it in 6 months. I get it, ooh, sorry, you know, made a mistake. You'll get away with that, whatever, but you shouldn't be doing it. Also, if your deal is that tight that you can't take bridging finance, what happens when you pull a wall back, you think, oh, we don't need to border this room. It's, and that happened here. Oh, it's okay, the skim, you know, the plaster already looks really good. Your builder comes in, cool, let's skim it, let's put some blue grit on it. Oh, Tej, here's a video with a hammer. The walls are crumbling. Oh, they've had damp behind there. We couldn't see it behind the wallpaper. Oh, bloody hell, the whole room's got it. Tej, we need to board this whole room out. We've got labour, materials, and the time it's going to take. I need to get it's going to cost an extra whatever, grand, whatever it is. Like, you know, there's always a contingency. So ensure that when you're doing deals, you understand the deal fully, get yourself educated on it. You cannot use a mortgage. That is that, and I'm not gonna say anything else about it. Second myth we're gonna talk about, oh, I've got no money, so I'm gonna use a bridging loan to buy a house. NMD, no money down. Okay, look, it exists, don't get me wrong. You got an investor for the deposit? Fine. You got an investor for the refurb? Fine. You got a joint venture? Fine. NMD does exist. Yes, it's a buzzword, it's thrown up, but it does exist. For your first deal, will it exist? Maybe. You might find an investor for your first deal. I did, family member. You might not. right? Because you're new. Who wants to give you money when you're new? You've got no experience, you know what you're doing. Even if you've done the right education, you've got the right mentor, you know, are you going to give money to a veteran, knows what they're doing, got scars, been through it? Or someone who says, hi, got 0 houses, but can I have 100 grand and on a contract? And then, yeah, like be realistic with it. So you can do NMD, right? No money down. But more importantly, a bridge is like 75% of purchase price, right? And actually after fees, you know, it comes down to like 73%. Now you may have some open market value bridging where they say, actually, you're getting it for 60, but it is actually worth 100. So great on the discount. We'll give you 75%, 85% of that value, right? Of the 100. Now, doesn't always work as well as that. You know, the surveyor has to come in, so yeah, good luck working with them, and has to actually value it above what you're buying it at, which, why would they do that? For their LTV, for their insurance, for their security, they ain't doing that, right? Let's be real. So this does work, but it doesn't give you 100%. It doesn't. And how are you gonna pay for the refurb? You know, so you need to understand there's always a deposit requirement. Someone's skin is always in the game, right? Whether it's yours, whether it's your investors, whatever, right? But skin is always in the game. Now, the third and final myth of tens and hundreds in property is that you can buy a property on a mortgage with a loaned deposit. No, you cannot. Your mortgage company wants to be the sole person who's loaned you money. They want your skin in the game, and they don't want someone else having a claim to, you know, 25% of it, because that means you don't give a, you know, you just run off to Magaluf and leave the house as it is. You cannot buy a mortgage. It's a fact. This is fact. This is how they work, with a loaned deposit or a borrowed deposit for you. You can do it with a gifted deposit, but you cannot do it with a loan. And again, people try and do a BRR with a mortgage with a loan deposit. Y'all are just messing around on too many different levels here. Understand bridging, understand how to raise investor finance, do good deals primarily, and you know, the rest, all the million moving parts, will fall into place. So I hope that was useful. If you find it useful, leave a comment below, hit the like button, make sure you subscribe, hit the share button, and go follow me on Instagram, and you'll see a lot more myths being busted.